we're going to be talking about dollars.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's been keeping up with this, but obviously the Caitlin Clark phenomenon has now had financial recognition. And what I mean is Dr. Ryan Brewer, who is a renowned valuation guru in the field of finance, expert on estimating something or someone's worth. So he was asked by the Indy Star, he did a research project on the impact of Caitlin Clark, both to the NBA, to Indianapolis, and to the sports world in general. So what was her impact? Now, here was the rundown of this, and this is absolutely insane for a rookie season and for one season for one player. All right, and DJ, I'll have a question for you after I rattle off some of these statistics, so be prepared. These are some wild ones. All right, let's start with TV viewership. Total TV viewership for the WNBA broadcast was up 300%, and then 45% of that increase came just from Fever games. One. League merchandise sales catapulted 500% over the previous year, with Clark ranking number one and fellow rookie Chicago Sky player Angel Reese at number two. We all know that battle back and forth, but let's be fair. Both of them had an impact here, but we know where the primary force came from, but Angel Reese had no slouch in this conversation. Let's not try to take anything away from her, but I need to say that. The Fever's regular season game attendance averaged more than 17,000 fans. This is the first time a WNBA team has drawn more than 300,000 fans in a season. So over the entire season, the Fever cracked that 300,000 mark for the first time in any season by any team. Which is crazy. Clark's regular season games were watched by 1.2 million viewers on average, which is 199% more than all non-Clark WNBA games combined. So take the number of games the Fever played, times it by, 12 other teams or 13 other teams. Those 13 teams' regular season games, taking out the Fever games, combined, still couldn't even equal up to 1/100 or 1/20th of what Caitlin Clark's Fever games could do. Now, that's looking at the numbers for just the Fever. For Indianapolis alone, she had such an economic impact that she was valued at contributing $36 million to the Indianapolis economy last year alone. Now, that's not as big as the All-Star Game's $400 million boost to the city in February, but it's 10%. She contributed 10% of what the NBA All-Star Game contributed to the city of Indianapolis. And that's an astounding fact, especially when you consider the fact that she only makes $76,535 in a regular season based on the contract because of the caps. So the question behind all of this was, will Caitlin Clark ever be able to be paid what she's really worth to the league? The simple answer that Dr. Brewer came up with was no. There's no chance that's possible. But DJ, hearing those numbers, hearing how much she makes at $76,000, one, can the WNBA ever pay her currently when, mind you, their contracts are currently capped at $232,000 on a non-rookie deal? Can they ever pay her what she's worth to the WNBA? And number two, do you think that any other player across any league in the world has ever had this level of impact?
Well, the only way they could pay her is just by giving her ownership at this point too, because unfortunately the WNBA is literally in the hole. Like they don't actually make any money technically. So no, at this point, no, because she's responsible for all of it. At this point, there's just no way at this particular point in time that they could pay her what she is worth. Because you take her away, it's even further in the hole. Like you have a chance of getting out of the hole with her, a long shot, but a shot. Without her, it's just financially, we're talking just dollars and cents here. We're not talking entertainment factor or anything like that. But dollars and cents wise, there's no way to pay her what she's worth because she's worth that much from all the numbers you just said. If I had to try and remotely pick an athlete who's had this type of financial implications as well as just star power, that's just clear, that's that crucial to the organization, maybe Ronda Rousey to women's MMA, particularly when she burst onto the scene, because before that nobody cared, and after that almost nobody cares. Unfortunately, it's considering the levels it was when she was at her peak, where she was the second biggest star of all time, arguably at the time. And now it's like more often than not, they're being shoved on cards as co-main events or deep or fight nights. They don't have the same pizzazz. So maybe that. But other than that, like when you think about for an entire league, not just a team, not a regional thing, not like Tim Tebow, what he did for the Gators in Gainesville, anything like that. Like it's hard to think of really anything that fully compares to a full professional league. How one athlete has it literally, like you said, more than 50% of the viewership is on her back, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wild stat, and it goes a little deeper. And this is one I wasn't sure if I should bring up, but I think it's worth it because this team just drafted the Golden State Valkyries, which signed their contract expansion fee. They paid their fee prior to Caitlin Clark being in the league. Was paid. They were purchased for $50 million. They paid the league $50 million for the expansion team. Post 2025, so post Caitlin Clark, Portland and Toronto both bought in for expansion franchises, valued at $125 million for Portland and $115 million for Toronto. So the valuation on what an expansion franchise is needed in the WNBA more than doubled. Now, again, I need to say this because I think we're not trying to just say this is all Caitlin Clark, but she's a great impact here. Like, she is a great equalizer into the promotion of this in a lot of ways. But Angel Reese is also doing things. Cameron Brinker is also doing things. Go down the list, and there are rookies that are doing things that are making an impact here. But it's like, it's hard when you see this and you see this top player who's doing these. Like, when you look at the numbers, the league puts out numbers on jersey sales. The league puts out numbers on merchandise. Caitlin Clark's name is twice as much as the next closest in every single category. And that's the hard part to look at this. Like, you're looking at new media rights signed in July of last year for $200 million a year. There's so much being brought in. And I will say, I think there's a possibility that in the soccer world, one of these players has been this level, but that was well into their career. I don't think a player has had this impact this soon as a rookie and second-year player now, what she's about to be, at this point in time. I think this is the first player we've seen as a second-year player have a financial impact at this level to a team. And the closest in the U.S. sports realm, in my eyes, would be LeBron and Cleveland, because Cleveland before LeBron, Cleveland in his second year, I think in that stretch, possibly. But I still don't think it reaches the same levels because Cleveland is still in the scheme of things, a bigger market in the long run. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think Caitlin Clark, though, it's an impressive story, and it's going to continue, and I'm interested to see where this goes. But, yeah, this is crazy.
Absolutely. And not only that, like what LeBron did that for Cleveland particularly, she's doing this for the entire W. Like, not just for Indiana. Like, obviously for Indiana, but also the entire W. Where she goes, the money follows. Like, she's printing more money than pre-Disney Star Wars at this point. Well, that's the only way to describe it.
And this explains why the NBA wanted her to compete in the All-Star game. Think about the money that would have brought in. And she's like, I want my first All-Star game to be for the W. That tells you something. Because now I'm interested to know what the W's All-Star game numbers are going to be this year after that comment. And after knowing these dollars.
Now, if they wanted to spike ratings there, they'll do the opposite. They'll bring like Steph Curry to the WNBA All-Star game for a 3-point shootout with those two or something ironic like that. Now we're making dollars and cents here, but where she goes, money is printed. And there's a reason I think 40 of their 42 games are nationally televised or something ridiculous like that. Like, there's a good reason for it at this point. No one should be fighting it. Just accept it and everybody benefit off it. Let everyone just jump on the train and let's ride it out too, because the rising tide will raise all ships at this point. There's no need to fight it. No need to ignore it. Just let it happen.
Hey, the Paige Buchers draft squad that just came in is just equally as talented. They have Paige. They have a few other players that in this draft, that Haley Van Lith, that are going to be interested. Haley Van Lith going to the Sky to partner up back with Angel Reese again with LSU. Their partnership. We'll see how that goes. But I think there's an opportunity there that you talk about some of these players starting to come from the college game who we had their feature through the NIL. Now you see them in the W. Maybe that NIL money is going to benefit the women's game more than it's ever going to benefit the men's game in the pro level. And I'm going to be very interested to see and keep track of this throughout the year. So don't be surprised if I keep dropping these numbers once a year, because I find them so interesting, because I think the W and women's sports in general need to be highlighted more. And I think Caitlin is obviously a perfect example of it in the W, but I think we're going to see it more in every other sport too.
It's absolutely incredible to see what she's done, and I look forward to seeing the season as it gets underway. But that's